So, hi, I'm going to introduce you to this lovely, lovely person. And yeah, because I met her at the UK Food Festival, and maybe you just want to say who you are and where you're from.
All right. My name is Lissa, and I'm from Lissa's Rawfoodromance on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And I live in Canada, but I'm moving to the United States soon. But yeah, that's where I'm from. And I lost 70 pounds. I cleared up my acne, and I've been raw for 5 years now.
Amazing. And maybe how did you become raw vegan? Because it's quite a interesting story, actually.
Yeah, so I found out about raw vegan foods in about 2004, so 10 years before I actually became a raw vegan. So in those 10 years, I struggled a lot because I was eating a lot of high-fat foods and I was calorie restricting, and I really didn't know how to do it properly. So, you know, in there, I probably tried to be raw vegan around 100 times. Off and on, I would do it for like 2 days, sometimes a week, but the longest I did it in those 10 years was 2 months. So that was the longest.
But it's still 2 months.
2 months was still good, but I was doing high fat and you know, I was having a lot of cravings. I wasn't feeling my best. I was feeling better because I wasn't eating junk food or any of that. So it was better, but it wasn't awesome. So then in 2014 I was working at a health food store. And there was this older woman who kept coming in, and she shared with me the mucusless diet healing system. And that got me into the mucusless diet stuff and eating fruit and I was really intrigued. I thought it was a really beautiful way of eating, but hamburgers and pizza, right? It was so much, you know, more enticing. And I was working at the health food store and teaching people about health, but I was eating unhealthy, right? And then I would do different diets, and then I would try raw food again and everything. And then it wasn't until 2014 when I actually went raw vegan. So about a year before I did that, I did a keto diet and like a gym. I did like a 2-month gym challenge where we did keto, and I was at the gym like every single day except for rest days. But yeah, I was like working really hard, and I was on this keto diet. I was calorie restricting. I was following all the rules perfectly, but I just didn't feel good. And I felt like I was restricting myself, and I hated my diet, and my joints hurt worse. My acne was worse. I had no energy. I mean, compared to before, I had more energy, but I was just like so drained. So after that challenge, the first thing that I ate was crisps or chips or whatever. I was just like, oh, I need
relief.
Relief. Because I had been depriving my body of carbohydrates for 2 months. I was eating very little. I was just eating like oats in the morning and maybe a little bit of vegetables at night. Not a lot. So it was really, really difficult. So when I broke my 2 months with the chips, I was like, I'll just do it this once, and then tomorrow I'll get back on track. But that never happened. Because then for the next year, I ate the worst that I ever ate in my whole life. I was eating Doritos for breakfast. I was eating chicken and French fries and potatoes and lots of stuff. Everything that I shouldn't have been eating. So there was a day, I was also addicted to energy drinks. I'd drink 2 a day and coffees and candy and everything else. But the energy drinks, I feel, was causing me to have heart palpitations. And they would be so intense that I would wake up in the middle of the night feeling like I was having a heart attack. And I was like 34 at the time. So it was like,
that's scary.
And I'm like, okay, like this could happen. I know people who've had heart attacks at 40 or whatever, and I'm getting up there. So I was scared. And then I wouldn't want to go back to sleep because all I would be thinking about is, what if I had a heart attack? What if that was real? So I was really scared. And then the next morning on September 12th, 2014, I was like, that's it. I'm going raw vegan again for the 101 time. But that day I feel was different because I was binge watching Fully Raw Christina's videos. And I had never tried the low fat version. I was always, in those 10 years, it was always high fat. So this time I was like, let's just give this low fat thing a try. I was so scared of doing low fat. I was so scared of eating a lot of calories. But I was like, if they survive and if they can do it, then I can do it for a couple months at least, right? So then I started and I was experimenting, but that's when I decided to be raw.
So
yeah.
So your biggest tip for people who want to succeed on this diet would be to be low fat, or try to be low fat.
Yeah.
And focus more on fruit.
Yeah, focus on fruit, eat low fat, and eat a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's what something people just don't realize how much they need to eat.
Yeah.
Like I'm walking around with a plate with like 12 peaches on it.
Yeah.
And people are like, are you going to eat all of that? Yeah.
Like today I saw you with, this,
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know, and people are like, are you serious? You're going to eat all of that? But you have to.
You have to, yeah. I mean, it's so high in water content that you really have to eat a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's like the number one thing that when people go to a raw vegan diet, that they underestimate how little calories is in fruit, and that you actually really have to eat a lot. So
yeah, and vegetables too. Because I eat 2 salads a day. Yeah, like my massive, like they're probably this big round, and like that high. Yeah. They're like salad bowls for a family of 5.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yesterday the salad was amazing.
Oh.
It was so good.
Yes, the salads here at the UK Fruit Fest are delicious.
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. And maybe can I ask you, because you actually met your soulmate at the fruit festival, maybe you just want to say a little bit about your love story. And I mean, you get married.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm getting married in just under a month.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. So what happened with our little love story was 3 years ago. So I have 4 recipe books.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The first one that I made I released 4 years ago. And 3 years ago or so, I don't remember exactly when, but about 3 years ago, my fiance, now his name's Nate, he bought my recipe book all on his own. He did it all by himself. No one pushed him to do it. I mean, he had the motivation from a couple of people, and he had met this skier who was 86 who cured himself of colon cancer when he was 40, and he was like a 40+ year raw vegan. And he was like, okay, maybe I want to be raw too, so I can ski when I'm 86. So that night he goes online and he's looking, and he found my stuff, and he's like, I'm gonna follow what this girl's doing, right? Because she's got pretty pictures and everything. So he bought my book. He changed his lifestyle over. He became raw vegan. He lost 60 pounds. He changed his life.
And I mean, it's 60 pounds, so it's a
lot. Yeah,
really
that's a lot. What is it, like 11 stone or like, something like that. But so, he changed his life over. And then a couple of months later, he went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. I wasn't there that year, but my friend Jack was, and I stayed with Jack in Costa Rica, and he knew that because we did videos together and all kinds of cool stuff. So he knew that me and Jack were friends, and he was talking to Jack, and he's like, oh yeah, I bought Lissa's book, and I changed my life. And Jack was, Lissa needs to interview you. So he gets on his phone and he sends me a message and says, you need to interview this guy for your YouTube channel. I was like, okay, cool, right? So we set up the interview, and as soon as I saw him on the screen, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble. So we became friends, and we chatted every single day after that, and we just and then some personal stuff happened in my life and whatever, but then we started flirting. And I was like, okay, this is good. And I had gone through a breakup before, and my friend Elizabeth in Oregon invited me to come down to visit her. It's kind of like a breakup holiday. Yeah. Like, let's come hang out and we'll spend some time together. Yeah. So I went to Oregon and we planned a fruit luck, and I told Nate about it. And he's like, but he lives a 5-hour drive away. And him and his mom drove all the way up to see me. And then from that day, it was like, So we dated off and on, like not off and on, but we saw each other off and on for a year, well, probably like 8 months. Like I would fly to Oregon, and then he came up to Canada too. So we would go back and forth. And then at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, he proposed to me in front of everybody.
I saw some pictures, and I was just like, wow,
it was so wonderful.
Yeah, it's so wonderful.
Yeah, so then we applied for the fiancé visa, which took a whole year to get, and I just got it. Like literally just got it. So I have my fiancé visa now. I can legally enter the United States and get married. So I'm legally entering on August 17th.
Whoa.
At which point it triggers the 90-day fiance thing.
Yeah.
So I have to marry Nate within 90 days.
Okay.
Otherwise I'm sent back to Canada.
Okay.
So that's the story. Yeah.
And the Woodstock Fruit Festival is when is the Woodstock Fruit Festival?
It's August like 20 to 28, I think.
And,
no, 18 to 24, I think.
And you get married
yeah.
at the Woodstock?
Yeah, we're getting married at Woodstock. We're getting married
so beautiful.
on August 24th at 3 p.m. Eastern.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and we're going to stream it live on Nate's Instagram.
I
know you've got it all ready to go.
That's really amazing. No, it's super inspiring, I think, for a lot of people. And maybe because you have recipe books, and where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, so my recipe books, I have ebook versions of all of them, but I also have like Amazon print versions that you can find on Amazon. You can just search for Melissa Raimondi, which is going to change in a month.
Yeah.
It will be Melissa Maris.
Maris.
Yeah,
That's
Melissa
beautiful.
Maris.
That's a beautiful name.
Thank you. I know, I love it. So my name will be changing, but for right now, it's Melissa Raimondi. You can find that on Amazon, or you can just go to my website, rawfoodromance.com.
Yeah, I will link everything in the description box.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And then Instagram, Raw Food Romance, Facebook, Lissa's Raw Food Romance, Snapchat, I'm Lissa Raw Vegan, and YouTube, Lissa's Raw Food Romance.
Yeah, and really check her YouTube channel, because it actually inspired me and helped me so much on my raw food journey. Like, really, like, not only inspiring information, but also very valuable inspiration and information. So check it out. And yeah, thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you so much, darling. Yeah, it's so wonderful to do an interview.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
Bye.